welcome back to Swamp Talk, where we're covering the Florida Gator football program from the Chief Seats. I'm here with Joel Smith from the Bull Gator. We've got you covered all season long at UFR Sports and .com and thebullgator.com. Check out both of those websites, Facebook pages, lots of good football and general sports discussion going on. Joel's got a lot of coverage out there right now concerning the Gators, covering a little bit of the College World Series as well. So we're talking offense this week on Swamp Talk. Big questions, running backs and wide receivers. One experienced guy, but who hasn't shown a lot of durability in Rainey. We've got another guy we're not sure he fits into the system in Jeff Demps. But I'm pretty certain that Weiss can find a place to use him. Wide receivers. Deontay Thompson's the most experienced guy you have. Questions about his ability to actually catch the football. Joel, how do you see this working out?
Well, in terms of running back, I'm not sure if Chris Rainey and Jeff Demps really do fit into the new offense, but they're going to be utilized. And the reason is not just because they're seniors, but because of their speed, how dynamic these two guys are. They've proven they can do it when they're healthy in the SEC and at a national level. You know, they've both won national championships. They've both proven they can play. So I don't know if this is the type of back you're probably looking for the future of the Gator program, but they're definitely going to have to be the two that are utilized. The first thing to realize about the running back position is just the injuries across the line. I mean, you look at the top four in Mac Brown, Jeff Demps, Mike Gillislee, and Chris Rainey, and these guys have all had troubles over the years. That and three of them are upperclassmen. It's hard to believe Mike Gillislee is already going to be a junior, but this is already his third year, so he's only got 2 years left. A Mac Brown type back is probably what you're looking for in terms of the future of the running backs at the University of Florida. But again, he's an unproven commodity. Definitely one that I hope can get that freshman eligibility back somehow. He lost it from barely playing at all during last season, but did lose that eligibility. So hopefully there's some way he can get it back. But at the running back position, it's uncertainty, and the main reason is because of the new offense and injuries. I think Demps and Rainey can have great seasons, but I don't know if we're going to see fully what this offense is intended to do with the running game until you get to 2012.
Now, Rainey said during some of the spring drills that he liked the offense because it was more like the Lakeland Dreadnought set, where he got a chance to kind of get the ball deep, find a hole, and make a cut. Do you think that's going to benefit him? Now, towards the end of last season, Rainey started to show some promise that maybe he was going to toughen up, and he kind of got in his head right. Do you think that Weiss can get enough out of him, the combination of their talents together, not necessarily having that one big back that you need, but do you think he can combine those well enough to get what he needs to keep the offense moving?
Definitely. I definitely think he can. You make a good point when you look back at Lakeland. Remember, Lakeland is a school that ran the heck out of the ball when Rainey was there. Rainey was first-team All-State his senior year, and Jamar Taylor was third-team All-State, and he was the backup running back. He was actually headed to Alabama and ended up at USF for a few years. So you're looking at a guy who was a backup and still was third-team All-State in a pretty good classification in one of the most talent-rich states in the U.S. So that was a team that ran the heck out of the ball and did it really well. And I think that is going to benefit Rainey in getting the ball moving forward as opposed to necessarily in motion, things like that on the option plays to the outside. It's going to be more of allowing him to get going and take a handoff and really, hit the hole with his speed already going. Now, we both know him and Demps aren't big guys, so, linebackers are going to be able to tackle him. But if they can hit those holes at full speed, it's just going to be about getting right by those would-be tacklers. So I think what you might see is more of those plays like we did during the 2006 season when Percy Harvin would get the ball deep in the backfield and all of a sudden be gone straight up the middle of the field. I'm sure everyone remembers the one against Arkansas in the SEC championship game that year. That might be what you see. It might not be trying to get Demps and Rainey to the outside as much. It may be trying to just get them up the middle. And if these guys are at full speed when they hit the hole, then, sure, a bigger guy's going to be able to take them down, but they're still going to be, 5 yards, 7 yards before you even know it, just because of how quick they are.
Yep. It's a big question mark there. Definitely, you've got, like you said, sitting the bench, your backups, untested. And when you said that, I didn't realize it, but yeah, you're right. Gillislee is a junior. he's sort of like the linebackers. You talked about that last week. Where did the time go? There was so much promise, and we didn't seem to get any of that out of him that we thought we were. He showed the ability to kind of run the ball hard up the middle, but again, he got hurt. It's durability. You know, obviously Urban Meyer recruited a different style of back than what's going to be required in this offense, and you just wonder how long everyone can hold up. Now, from the wide receiver position, again, we talked about this in the 2-minute drill. Deontay Thompson's your most experienced receiver out on the field. He hasn't shown any of the promise. I guess Andre DeBose was another guy we had hoped would be able to kind of fill in and help out in the receiver corps, maybe kind of playing that Percy Harvin role. We didn't see much out of the receiving corps last year. We've got some big names coming in this year from the spring as well as fall. You know, how much of last season was on the receiving corps, not understanding how to play the game? How much of it was Brantley? Should we expect more out of the receivers this season?
Well, I think we should expect more because the talent is there, but I think you've got to put some of it on them last year. Now, part of it was the offense that was used. Part of it was not necessarily getting them the ball in the right routes. It was, you know, trying to get these guys the ball sometimes behind the line of scrimmage and see what they can do. It was almost like going back for the last 2 seasons and trying to figure out a way to find a Percy Harvin that you could throw the screen to and that he could make 12 yards out of it. And you just never had those guys. A lot of these guys on the roster are true receivers. They aren't that Percy Harvin type. So it's tough to really show their talents. But then at that respect, you look at a guy like Deontay Thompson who can't catch a deep ball for whatever reason, and it's in his head, and it's going to be in his head forever, and it looks like something that's just not going to be something he can fix on those long balls. So there is partly, I don't want to say to blame, but that's about the best way to describe it. It's partly on the offense, and it's partly on these receivers. I think the biggest thing to worry about for 2011 and the biggest concern is, okay, Hammond, Thompson, Alley, Clark, DeBose, Hines, Dunbar, Patton. Those are some good names. Then you also look at Story coming in, the freshman. Those are great names, but where's the experience? Thompson's seen a lot of time on the field. There's no denying that, but he still has yet to really explode. Last year was his high with 38 catches. 38 catches, the whole scheme of things, over 13 games, I mean, you're averaging less than 3 catches a game. So that's not some great senior, you know, experience we have going on there. And you look at the other guys in the team, and you probably have Hines, who is the most experienced at the position afterwards. He's only going into his 3rd season, and Hines has only caught 34 passes total as a Gator.
Right.
So that's really the concern. And you've got 9 scholarship guys right now, and some people say, well, don't worry, there's talent there. But we haven't seen a lot of it on the field yet. And 9, Urban used to say he'd want between 13 and 14 scholarship receivers with how much they rotate them. And I don't know if you necessarily need that many on a team, but with unproven players, Muschamp may need that many, and 9 is just not a lot. And it really has to be a focus for the 2012 recruiting class. I think you're going to have to keep targeting that. They have LaTroy Pittman right now, but they're going to have to keep going after more and more and more because that's just not a good number. I mean, you go to a 5-receiver set, and you have over half your scholarship receivers on the field. So you know, you lose a guy here and there, maybe just something that they only have to miss 2 or 3 games, and then you're already putting like number 7 and number 8 on the field during critical situations. So that's definitely the biggest concern is the numbers and the experience of those numbers. When your top 2 guys only caught a combined, I believe it's about 60 passes, less than 60 passes last year, that's really not a lot. I mean, you look back to the years when Riche Caldwell and Jabbar Gaffney teamed up, and before that, Ike and Rydell, and the numbers they were putting up, 2.5 times that in terms of the number of catches they were pulling in just together, and those were just the top 2 guys. So that really is a concern that it's hard to say if we have a guy that can catch 50 balls, and 50 balls is only, 4 a game.
Now, and to add to this, I think some of the top talent has been the most disappointing. So it's not even, it was a situation where you only had 9 guys, and maybe Deontay Thompson had shown some promise. But even in the limited exposure we've had of him, Thompson hasn't shown us much. One last question before we move on. Andre DeBose, does this make or break for him this season?
I don't know if it's make or break because this is his third year in the program and he's his second year of eligibility. So he's still got 3 full years left. I just don't think you're going to see what we expected out of Andre DeBose was the Percy replacement, as much as he hates to hear that, because that position's not in the offense anymore. If he can reinvent himself, he's still a dynamic player with a lot of talent, and I think can be one of the nation's best kick returners. Obviously, we've seen that as long as he can hold on to the ball. But he can reinvent himself as a new type of receiver. There's no questioning the talent. I mean, a lot of people thought, well, Percy's going to go to the NFL, and what is he really going to play? Well, he's done fine for himself his first 2 seasons there. So if DeBose can do the same thing at the college level and kind of reinvent his position to what it was expected to be, which shouldn't be too hard, that'll be a plus. Other thing will be the new playbook. I think will help him immensely. One of the knocks on him was always he was having trouble with the playbook, and that was part of the reason why he failed a lot. So if we can get him to run some basic routes that are the routes that, are in every playbook, and none of this fancy motion behind the line, all that stuff that the Gators were trying to do, I think he still has the chance to turn himself into an elite talent. It's obviously there. He's just got to stay healthy, and he's got to get his head wrapped around the new position he's going to be playing.
Yeah, I know that, one of the knocks was he had trouble running routes. That's going to be very important in this offense. My question about Andre DeBose, I wonder if he's tough enough for Will Muschamp. Muschamp's a guy who likes toughness out of everybody on the field. I don't know. And again, he's a local guy from around in this area here in Sanford, not far from where I'm at. Kind of know some of his background, and then, he came from that spread. They run that at his high school, at Sanford High School. He's a guy who was just faster and quicker than everybody, and that was his advantage. Now he's in a situation where he's got to work on the finer parts of the game to still be an elite player. Just not sure if he can grasp that. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to look at the offensive line and tight ends. Tight ends, again, figure to be very important in this new offensive scheme, and the offensive line was definitely an issue for the Gators last season, and I'm not sure if a lot of those questions were answered. Remember, you can catch Joel and myself, thebullgator.com. You can also catch Joel at alligatorarmy.com, where he's covering recruiting of the Florida Gators, and you can catch us at ufrsports.com, where we're covering sports from the cheap seat. Take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Tired of searching multiple sites for something to do that fits you? Let eventgrabber.com find the perfect event for you. Eventgrabber.com is a new website that matches your personal interests with events in your town, from nightlife to festivals, live entertainment to kid-friendly events. Simply sign up, tell us what you like, and eventgrabber.com does the rest. And if you're an event host, local business, or group, eventgrabber.com lets you target your best customers. Why spend time searching when you can get going? Sign up at eventgrabber.com and connect with the community around you.